everybody. Welcome to Hanging Out with Dee. I'm Dee Harris. And today we have another fantastic, inspiring guest. We have Fran Normann, Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Restore here in Danbury, Connecticut. Welcome, Fran.
Thank you, Dee. It's so wonderful to be here.
I'm really happy to have you.
Thank you.
So you have a very interesting bio. I see where you began your career as a newspaper reporter. Tell us about that.
Yes, actually, since I was in 8th grade, I went to school in Queens, in New York, and always loved communications, always loved the idea that people could know about what was happening in their world through the media.
Yeah.
And I loved reading, I loved writing, and believed that that was what I wanted to do with my life. And
when you
I
grew
did.
Up. Yes, and you did. And you did.
Yes, and I went to Syracuse University.
Yeah.
At that point, it had one of the few schools of journalism,
yeah.
the Newhouse Communication Center. Went through the newspaper sequence and started my career in newspapers. First with the Camden Courier Post outside of Philadelphia.
Wow.
Was a newspaper reporter, running around and
finding stories.
Finding stories and enjoying that.
Wonderful.
And when I moved up here, years later, I started in a corporate public relations with that background.
Yes.
So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, so nothing lost.
Nothing lost, and I continue to be able to be nosy.
Definite. Yes, and to package information in a way, I'm sure even as an executive director at Habitat for Humanity, being able to tell a story and understand the client side of the story and all of that, which we'll talk about more.
Yes.
Yeah. So, who are some of your mentors growing up?
Well, I was very, very fortunate. My father was, to me, somewhat unusual because he believed, as I was growing up, that females had the right to pursue their careers, to be as educated as they were able.
Which was radical thinking back then.
It was radical thinking, you know.
Yeah.
And so he kept on stressing education and kept on stressing that I should be all that I could be.
Oh, wonderful.
So that was really wonderful.
Yes.
And throughout my corporate career especially, I had CEOs that I worked for because I did public relations, marketing, investor relations. And so I had a different relationship with the CEOs of corporations. And they were, again, also very...
Great mentors for
yes, they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Again, you know, exceed.
Yes.
You know, what do you think?
Correct.
I was very aware that often they were asking me opinions that were above my rank in the hierarchy. But it trained me to think on my feet and to be able to come up with
solutions.
Yeah.
And to also make you know that your opinion is valuable.
Yes, and that is so important, especially for young women, I believe.
Yes, yes.
And so it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. So I would say that the CEOs and
your dad.
And my dad.
Were your mentors.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you have an amazing son. Tell us about your son.
Yes, I have a grown son. He lives and works in New York City. His job is fantastic. He is in a professional search in the financial sector.
Oh, great.
But his avocation, and I do use that word, he is a sailor. And come the end of June, he's
gone.
He's taking he's taking a 3-week trip across the Atlantic. It's the Newport to UK transatlantic sailing.
That's fantastic.
So he's been sailing since before he was born, and you know, this is what he loves to do.
That is too funny.
Yeah.
So, how did you get connected with Habitat for Humanity?
Well, I started with Habitat, as a lot of people do, as a volunteer.
Yeah.
And so what had happened is that then executive director said, can you come and help us with some writing?
Yeah.
And I did. And what I found is that I was doing more and more writing at Habitat, and I was in a situation where when they offered me a job, I said, yes, this is what I want to do.
Perfect.
And so I've been with them a little over 4 years,
Yes.
and have moved from the grant writer to the executive director. And I think my newspaper background, my communications
Definitely. That's what I was
background,
saying to you. It's perfect.
actually had me understanding the various segments of
Definitely.
our business and putting them together and being able to tell the story.
Wonderful. All right, guess what, Fran? We are going to live questions. Live questions time, guys. Hey guys, welcome to Dee's Live Questions. And today what we're going to talk about is success. So, Fran, what do you think success is?
Well, I think success is obviously different things to different people.
Yeah.
I believe that a successful life, especially a successful life in terms of a career, is one where there's few regrets. I think I was trained that there's such a thing as mistakes. I mean,
Yes.
we all make mistakes. But I believe that if you believe in yourself, if you do the research that you need to solve a problem, if you listen to the advice of others, the informed advice of others, and feel good in your decision, that when it comes, if it turns out that it needs to be modified or changed or even turned around, you say, well, fine, at the time, with the information, I made the best I could.
Yes.
I worked for AMF for
What's AMF?
American Machine and Foundry. I don't know if it's a company that's still
exists.
in business, but my CEO at that point was a gentleman by the name of Rodney C. Gott, and he worked for Patton in World War II. And so I think I saw his decision making, again, because of the type of job I did in the corporation, and the fact that he used those techniques and was successful.
So you admire that about
I
him?
admired that, you know, because you need to come from a period, a position of self-strength.
Correct.
And especially if you're going to be successful, you really need to project that and to feel that and to make decisions from that
All right,
baseline.
so for our listeners, you're saying success is the ability to live a life without regret and making the informed decisions that you need for the moment.
Yes.
That mistakes are helpful, mistakes will come, but that they're not wasted because with the information you had at the time, you did your best.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I like that.
And, you know, I believe that for continued success, you need to work hard and you need to continuously upgrade your education. I think, again, you never stop learning. And so that you can bring that depth of experience, that additional know-how, and that's what helps you make better informed choices.
Excellent.
And,
Excellent. I
you know,
love that.
how could I not say that part of my success is also a son that I'm very proud of,
Yes,
and
of course.
and who I focused on.
Yes.
So.
You did something right.
I did something right. I showed up.
Yes, I was reading this book by Steve Harvey, Act Like a Success, Think Like a Success. It's also a book I like. And one of the things that he was saying in his book too is that success is taking the lid off, he calls it.
Yes.
And he was talking about how fleas can jump super high. But that if you put a flea in a jar, it will only jump as high as the jar. And then all the kids will come only jumping this high when they have the ability to jump this high. And he was pretty much talking about take the limitations off yourself as well. What people say about you based on your gender, where you came from or whatever, and going as high as you can go regardless.
And of course, you know, I'm an advocate of early childhood learning, and when you apply that analogy to early childhood learning, you know that children are sponges, we know that, and that the connections in their brain is enhanced by stimulation. Additional facts, additional learning. And so societally, we want to help children,
to go
which
as
are the
high
foundation,
and go as high as they can. All right, now it's time for Say What? Fran is going to tell us. All right, so now Fran is going to talk to us about the myths and the facts about Habitat for Humanity. Let's go to the first graphic. You say Habitat for Humanity was not started by Jimmy Carter. That's
yes, I mean, I think President Jimmy Carter is a fantastic person. He's a fantastic symbol for Habitat, but he did not start Habitat. Habitat was started by a couple, Millard and Linda, Miller and Linda Fuller in Americus, Georgia in the 60s, I believe. And it wasn't until President Carter had left office, and the story that I heard, I don't know how true it is. I'll ask him when I see him.
The legend goes.
The legend is that he was walking down the street in New York City and went past a Habitat build and said, "I've always been interested in this." And with his Secret Service, arrived on the spot and was incredibly impressed. Now, since he comes from the same general area of Georgia that the Fullards did, I'm sure he knew about it. But that was when he actually stared to become involved.
So he probably shone a huge light on the work of Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, and I mean, who doesn't have a photo image of him with his rolled up sleeves hammering, you know, which is fantastic. So I think that's that's an interesting
Let's go to the second myth. Habitat for Humanity housing is not poverty housing, it's affordable housing.
Well, I think that comes in line with the next thing that we're going to talk about. But the difference between affordable housing has to do with the median income in a particular area. And poverty housing, of course, involves people who cannot afford their housing. And in this general area, because each affiliate is self-contained and run, we provide affordable housing for people who are working and who will be able to buy their homes.
Got it.
So a little bit different.
Correct. So it's not the projects.
It's not the project.
It's homes for people who have a job and who can afford to pay and own the home over time.
Yes. And often the cost of owning a Habitat home is equal to or less than rental in the area. But it's not a handout.
Got it. Next slide. No taxpayer money is ever used to build homes.
Right. I think that Habitat is not a giveaway program. And I think people think, oh my goodness, you know, my money, my taxpayers' money is going in to this poverty housing. That's a different program. We build homes. We raise the funds, first of all. We build the homes with volunteers. Certainly the trades, licensed trades, we pay for their services, we pay for materials, and then we sell the homes to first-time home buyers within a certain economic range, and then we provide the mortgage. Got it.
Next graphic. So facts, we are home builders.
Right. I think basically what we do, as I said, we purchase or are given a property, we rehab or stick build homes, we collect the finances needed to build that home, we assemble the volunteers who are going to build it, we select the families, and then the other part of it is the financial.
All right, let's go to the next slide. We are a bank. Nobody ever thinks of Habitat for Humanity as a bank.
No, I think that, again, everyone thinks of us with a hammer in our hand. But we are, in fact, a nonprofit business. And that means that when people are interested in working with us, we need people to obviously work in Restore. We need people to do data entry. We need people to answer phones. And we service our mortgage. Our mortgages are 30 years, and they're 0%. So what that means is, without getting into a whole lot of math, because math is not my strong point, but basically if we sell a home for about third of the market value, that obviously is a benefit of Habitat. But we're also the bank, which means that the financial benefit is enormous. It's almost more than the financial benefit of the house that's sold at cost.
Yes.
And so that's the other part of this, the Habitat story that makes it affordable for working,
for working families.
0% mortgage.
0%, that is huge.
Yes, it is.
All right, next graphic. You're committed to your clients long term for at least 30 years.
Well, that's usually the length of our mortgage.
Yeah.
So, you know, we are in a monthly basis really dealing with our clients because they are submitting their mortgage payments. We talk with them. So we're not a builder who's handing you the keys and then says
you're in their life.
Yes,
for
we
the
are.
next 30 years.
And I think also too, something different happens when you and I are working on my house. And you know, we will talk to each other. We'll talk like we have about our kids. We'll get to know each other, and I think that in many cases the volunteer walks away with as much as the homeowner in terms of self-worth, in understanding, and that whole aspect of giving back, which is powerful, as you know.
Yeah, agreed. I had a friend of mine who had a daughter who was a troubled child. I think I remember telling you that story. She was tough. She was hard. Her mom was like, I don't know what to do with this girl. She got divorced, so now she became a single mom unexpectedly. And she said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send her to Habitat after one of her summer breaks during college. And she came back a brand new person. She came back, she was like, I have so much to be grateful for.
Yes.
She now wants to be an EMT. You know, it really changed her life. So.
But I think also too, you know, Habitat is about mentoring and teaching. I mean, we're a building and we're a bank.
Correct.
But I mean, you know, if you and I are on a build site, you're going to say to me, you know, this is how I would do it. You know, you're not hammering your hammer, why don't you hold it this way?
Correct.
So I think the people who are involved with us really want to give back, and want to give back on a personal way.
Great. Next graphic. Your clients have jobs. You wanted to make sure people knew that.
Yes.
This is not a handout.
It's not a handout. Our people have jobs, maybe. They're people who have jobs that might not have unlimited opportunity. Correct. They might be, they're going to possibly have those jobs that are earning under $20 an hour, probably more like 10 to 15. Their rate of salary increases may or may not keep track with housing costs and with living costs.
So these are people who are a little bit above minimum wage.
Yes, yes, and as we know within the region, it becomes more and more difficult.
Correct, depending on where they live. All right, next graphic. Who needs affordable housing? Let's talk about the people who you're...
Yeah, I mean, what we were talking about, again, are the people who are fantastic. All the communities need people who are health services, well, maybe home health aides, maybe teachers' aid, EMTs, admin. I mean, these are all
administrators.
They are the foundations of our ability. Shopkeepers,
of our community.
Yes, and yet. You know, I always think of, my goodness, do I want anyone within my community to live so outside of my community that they're not part of the culture as well?
Correct.
And
that is a very good point.
So, you know, I think we should be looking at ways to have a complete community.
Got it. Beautiful. Next slide. Yeah, what is ALICE?
Well,
the ALICE program.
ALICE is a very interesting program.
You said it was like asset limited.
It is. It's ALICE is
income constrained. Employed.
ALICE is a new program, and I don't speak for ALICE, but I can talk a little bit about it. It is a tri-state program, as you said, asset limited.
So tri-state meaning New Jersey?
I believe New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York. And at least in Connecticut, I know that all the United Ways are involved with it. And what it is a way of looking at lower income categories. So that we think of the working poor, right? And what ALICE stands for is asset limited. And I'll then go back to why that's important to us. Because, for example, to be a Habitat homeowner, we only require $1,500 down, as opposed to 10% with a traditional mortgage. So income constrained. My job is not going to allow me to get 6 figures at the end of my career. I'm going to be capped, so I'm going to have a limited income. But I'm employed, and so that's what ALICE stands for. And it takes the ALICE program and United Way takes a look at what it goes into allowing a community to flourish. And we need that variety of incomes. We need the diversity of skill sets to
be able to make the community rich. Okay, next slide. 35% of our families are struggling? Yes,
I think what it shows that 35% of our families are not keeping up with standard of living costs. And that is a tremendous amount when we start to look at our communities and how we have a sustainability in those communities.
So more than 1 in 3 persons that we are saying hi to are struggling.
Yes, and I think the other interesting part, so if we want to say like about 1/3 of everyone is not making a living to get by. And so United Way through this ALICE research is trying to say, all right, how do we change that composition? How do we look to education so that people are moving out of those jobs? How do we create more affordable housing so that people can afford to live in the state? And all of that fuels growth for everyone.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, next slide. Success stories. Give us a couple, give us one, because we're running tight on time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I was going to talk about 3. One of them is a gentleman whose mom worked 3 jobs. He's now a gentleman. He started out as a kid, but he worked 3 jobs so that he could go to West Con with an associate's degree. In the middle of all of that, they qualify for a Habitat home, and the family starts to create goals and objectives.
Wonderful.
And that gentleman now went through, has an associate degree, went on for his bachelor's, got a job. His job paid for his MBA, and now he's a licensed CPA. Now, I can't say that it's all because of his Habitat home, but it definitely
creates stability and a sense of pride in the home.
Without a doubt.
Awesome. So that's we have to cut now. We're going to your amazing video.
Oh, fabulous!
That was made by Dylan, a high school student at the Danbury High. So let's see the video.
Hi, my name is Fran Normann, and I'm the Executive Director of Housatonic Habitat for Humanity. We're at the Restore, which is our 11,000 square foot home improvement thrift shop. And I want to tell you a little bit about Restore and also about Habitat.
I'm Len Vinci. I'm the manager of the Restore in Danbury. And welcome. The actual store is a 10,000 square foot warehouse. And we sell products for the home, and everything you see in here, or you will see in here, is donated from individuals and companies and corporations in the local area here. Let's take a walk into the sink and kitchen area. We have used sinks, we have brand new sinks, we have used cabinetry, we have brand new cabinetry. We do about 40% of our business is furniture, as it turns out right now. And we have used chairs, used upholstered furniture, bedding. We have headboards and railings. We don't take mattresses, but we take everything else that involves bedroom furniture. Now we're walking out to another section of the bigger section of the Restore, which is on this area here we have doors, windows, tile. We have a section back here, we have mostly our floor tile. In the front we have wall tile. But sometimes we mix them up depending on what comes in. We have to be flexible with the space we have. And right now, we're walking towards the back of the store. This is where we have donations that come in. People drive up and give us donations. This is Michelle over here, who coordinates the donations.
Hello.
And is also basically the office manager. She does a great job, I might add. And we're going to walk now towards the shop area, where sometimes we get donations that need some kind of repair and testing. And all the appliances we get, whether they be refrigerators, microwaves, stoves, they have to be tested. And right now, for example, Bill was testing a microwave. And over here, this is Bill Johnson, by the way. He's basically a driver and a salesman here. He helps out in and outside of the store. Bill, you want to explain what happened here?
Sometimes we get furniture that comes in, it's nicked and scratched and stuff. And what I do is I just quickly go over it and refinish it so that the people can see what its potential can be. This is the beginning of it, and this is towards the end of it.
That pretty much sums it up.
All of our
Also, Bill is a very handy guy, obviously, besides doing pickups and deliveries for us here. We also have a group of volunteers who are very skillful, whether it be an engineering background or just do-it-yourself guys. So again, they refurbish. We'll have like an old radio from 1930 that we have people working on, and then we try to get them working orders, and we sell them. And again, everything here is donated, so that's the beauty of this place, is that we get a chance to recycle items and restore them and sell them. And that's really about it in a nutshell. We do have also, let's go over to the lighting department here. We have an area of lights. Most of these, as you see here, are donated, a lot of chandeliers. But we also have brand new lighting that we get in occasionally. And so people have a choice between brand new and used, retro type of stuff. As we go down this aisle here, let's take a quick walk here. We have more lighting type of items. We have a lot of hardware. We get a lot of used tools. Some of these tools are almost like antique tools at times. And we get brand new tools in as well. More lighting over here, more furniture. So again, it's a 10,000 foot square area. Gets filled up pretty quickly though, you'd be surprised.
Restore, we basically rely on volunteers to make the store run, and they're an essential part of our business. Without them, we couldn't do this. We're always looking for new volunteers. Anywhere you want to work in the Restore, pickups or cashier or basically cleaning around the Restore. We're always looking for new people, and if you're interested, definitely stop by.
Well, I think the most exciting thing about Restore is the fact that it's a treasure hunt under one roof that changes almost daily. We get daily new items in, and you just never know what's going to come in, and it's so much fun. I'm here every day, and I still find it exciting to walk through because you just need it.
Thank you for being with me today, Fran. There was so much more we had to talk about. We didn't even finish. Thank you for joining us. Check the Facebook for more pictures and Habitat homes here in Danbury. See you next time. Bye.